Hey, everybody, it's Josh here, and I just wanted to take a quick minute before the show gets started to just tell everyone that's listening, thank you. Any way, in any manner in which you consume this, whether it's downloading, listening on YouTube, liking our Instagram posts, following us on there, going to the website and clicking it, however that mechanism is that you choose to consume the content that we produce, I just wanted to say thanks. And on behalf of myself, obviously, and everyone here at Game Rage, we all thank you, because knowing that you're out there and you're listening, and if we can just entertain one person, then really that makes all the blood, sweat, tears, everything we put into this worth it. And I know I'm sounding like a martyr right now, but I just wanted to show our appreciation, I suppose. And also to, just remind everyone to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine, and to follow us on Twitter and X or /X at Game Rage Mag, and to also visit our website, www.gameragemagazine.com. And again, thank you from everyone here and myself at Game Rage. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for listening.
What podcast reviewer 37 describes as an indiscriminate hellish ride that I would not wish on my worst enemy. The industry's elite have said time and again, man, fuck those guys. Get ready. If your ears had butts, they'd about to be fucked. Welcome to the Butt Fuck Nowhere Show.
All right, and welcome to the BFN or the Butt Fuck Nowhere Show. This will be episode number 3, and this is basically the one, in case you haven't figured it out by now, that, we fucking said it a bunch of times. This is the one we're talking about whatever the hell we want. There's just no topic. It's just kind of whatever. And, it's probably for the best, because we just tried to do an episode of another one, and it just was bad. It was terrible. I was reading off of Wikipedia like an asshole. And now I kind of want to kill myself. So this is fucking ridiculous.
Nice.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting you to mention that.
If it makes you feel any better, I want to kill you too.
Yeah, I just good. Anyways, as usual, I'm Josh, and I'm also here with Frank.
What's up?
And then Adam.
Howdy.
So, anyways, one thing that I kind of want to start off with, and
this is a personal story, because if it is,
no, I want it. It's just, I guess kind of maybe, but it's about Adam a little bit. So,
all right.
You remember last week when you were over here and Chloe was just, she was being with whatever, and she was like kind of freaked out or whatever.
Yeah.
So just to show you how much you scare children. So
who is that man?
So after you guys left, she, or the next day, I think it was, because it was real late when you guys left. So the next day she says, I had a secret to tell mommy or whatever. And so she told her, and she basically was telling her about you and how, whatever, you freaked her out a little bit. And so she said,
she doesn't have to say that. I already see it in her eyes.
But one of the things that was funny is that today she said, because I said, I said, Frank's coming over. And she said, Mr. Frank's coming over. She said, and she kind of got all sketchy. And she says, is your other friend coming over? And I said, what do you mean? Which one? And then I said, do you mean? And then she said, don't say his name. Why can't I say his name? Just don't say his name. Well, how do I know who we're talking about? I don't want you to say his name. Is he Voldemort? Is he coming to come and take your soul?
The fucking Baba Yaga dude.
Yeah, basically. And she just super freaked out. But I said, his name is Adam. Oh, I didn't want you to say his name. It's I'm sorry. I gotta say, you gotta say his name. His name's Adam. He's okay. He's not a bad guy. I don't know. He's just really scary. And I said, yeah, he looks that way. Is it all the hair? And she just said, I think so. And I just thought it was funny. But yeah.
So is this how you're gonna start off? Just ripping us down to shreds?
Well, not you. Oh, you want me to do you next? If we're gonna go that route. I just wanted to tell Adam. I thought that was funny.
It is funny. And also, it gives me a lot of joy knowing that not only children but grown adults when I go to the park, because I pretty much pretty much what I'm wearing is what I go to like run around the park. Yeah. As I said before, there are people that directly, I mean, I'm running a good distance and maybe there's people like probably 30 or 50 meters away from me. And as I approach, I notice that they'll take a left or maybe they'll take a right.
Yeah.
And the women, I told you last time.
Yeah, you did tell you.
I told you last time that when I was running down when I was running down the side of the park, there's another inner route within the park itself, and this woman looked at me, and I immediately noticed that she turned the other way. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Well, like I said, the good thing about like this thing, whatever it is, the fear that I admit, I know that when I go to the park at night, I'm not going to be the person that gets robbed, because people are the ones that are afraid of me. I am the night.
Yeah,
I am the night, dude. I own it. Like,
they think you're going to rob them.
It's great, dude. It's great. Like I actually think it's a really advantageous thing. I actually don't want people around me when I'm running. Like the fact that they part ways for me, I'm like a very I'm like Moses, dude. Part
the people see.
Yeah, I part the people in a very weird way.
That's probably why they avoid you, because they know you're gonna part them in a weird way.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's funny. I love that I strike fear in children. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. I just wanted to try to bring you up a little. I noticed you were kind of feeling down, and hey, I want to give you a little confidence boost there.
Yeah, that's great. All right. So where are we going with this?
Well, I mean, I just wanted to tell that story, and then
I mean, not specifically that, but like, where are we going? Where's our next trip to?
I don't know. What do you think, Frank?
Let's see.
Well, I don't know. We were talking about going to. We were talking about. Well, I know you're not going to go, Adam, because you don't fucking go on vacation with people. But me and Frank were talking about going to Vegas maybe in November-ish.
For what?
Well, just to go and we'll go see Chow, because we haven't seen Chow in shit. Well, it's been like 3 or 4 years. Chow is a friend of ours. He's that's his actual name. I'm not just like calling him.
I don't know if you can even really call him a friend at this point. No offense to Chow, but I mean, how frequently do you talk to him?
I talk to him at least twice a month.
Twice a month, dude.
I mean, that's not bad.
Considering he fucking lives in a whole other state.
I send him a pigeon every fortnight.
Okay, so
dearest Chow.
So then, what would you consider? Not like, okay, we hung out with him. We used to hang out all the time. Okay, we hung out for many years together, and then he moves to another state. Granted, he never actually calls me. I'm the only one that calls. Maybe he's not really my friend now that you've mentioned that.
I was going to say, like, there has to be some kind of mutual.
Now, I got to ask though, is this coming out of legitimate gripes and concern, or are you just pissed at him because he roasted you motherfuckers?
Oh, no. This is coming from a place of genuine curiosity, if anything, because it's just like, out of all the people that's putting effort into the relationship, is probably Josh. And
no, actually, you're right. Now that I think about it, I don't think he's actually ever called me once. For the last 4 years since he moved, I think, because there's been, and I'll admit, there's been some times where I haven't talked to him in 3 or 4 months because I've been busy or something like that. But that's because I just was busy and didn't call him for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And now that you mention it, maybe, man, fuck that, man. We can whoop his ass next time I see him.
But the thing, like, I don't understand what you're getting out of it, that you're talking to this motherfucker.
Well, I mean, I'll
this
put it this way.
I'll also say that, like, I don't have anything against Chow. I think he's fine or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that, like, if I had to examine it with fucking, with my third eye, or whatever you want to call it, with your
true eye,
with my true eye, like, objectively speaking, I'm like, what do you get out of it?
I don't. Okay, so what I essentially get is on the Saturdays that basically we maybe don't talk when I'm driving fucking work.
Yeah,
he entertains me for the 90-minute drive, and basically just bitches about everything that goes on at his work, which, man, that actually kind of sucks now that I think about it. Like, fuck, man, I've been getting hosed this whole time. But no, I mean, I do, because, okay, you know me, I kind of talk and just talk and talk, and he just listens. And then, you know, I throw shit out there. I bounce ideas off of him of some shits that I'm thinking. And granted, he never really actually gives me any legitimate, useful feedback, or really even actually acknowledges that he even listens to anything I actually probably say. But it's still someone I can talk at for an hour and a half.
I assume he is somewhat invested if he hasn't hung up the phone.
I mean, that is true. There are times when I do think he leaves and then like just leaves the phone somewhere.
He just says like the equivalent. Oh, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, like I think he has a little soundboard set up, and he just it's set it to play every like 4 minutes
for every situation possible. It's like,
oh, no way.
Yeah, no way, bro.
What happened next? You know, it's a typical thing. Like, you know, when my wife comes and starts telling me a story about something I'm not interested in, I go, yeah. Oh, no way. Really? Oh, wow.
And then Josh taps out of it. She's been gone for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking awesome. Well, I mean, shit. I mean, at least, I don't know, man. Like, I really don't know what you're getting out of it. But if you're still invested in it, you get something out of it. Fuck, man. No, that's cool.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm getting something, I guess, out of it, which is not much. But I don't know why he even picks up the phone. To be honest with you, I might have to ask him that. Like, hey, man, what? Because we've been trying, and honestly, when he first moved out there in whatever, it was like sometime in 2019. It was right, obviously, it was before COVID. Me and Frank were going to go out there and see him right before COVID. And then all of a sudden that happened. And then we were like, well, I guess we're never going to go fucking see him for now. I guess all that shit got canceled.
Theoretically, that should have been the end.
Yeah, it should have been. But somehow I kept,
it's all you.
Kept calling him.
It's you. Man,
is this an abusive relationship that I'm in? Is that?
Yeah, dude, he's actually grossly negligent to you.
Yeah, that might be true. And you know, now that when Frank brought that up about how, you know, oh, you're saying this shit just because he roasts us all the time. I mean, you know, Chow did roast us pretty good back in the day. I mean, he would just talk shit all the time.
Yeah, but I'm sure that's coming from a place of like
hate and discontent. Yes,
I mean, you've mentioned that the bulk of your conversation is that he hates his life.
That's true. Well, it's funny because I'm gonna bring this shit out there because I do want to not interview him, but just talk to him on a podcast and just see what he has to say, and you know, see if it's maybe possibly entertaining. So I guess if you listen to this, you'll see in maybe a few months you'll hear him on here. Maybe.
I always wanted to know what because I never really questioned him. Like, fucking man, I've met stranger fellows. Like,
I mean,
the My Little Pony shit that he was on for a minute.
Oh, like, yeah, I haven't talked to him about it.
I always wanted to know what the deal with that was.
He came up on that shit way before he moved out to Vegas.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I remember I was talking about him at your wedding, and he was like, "Oh no, I'm done with that."
It's probably because that group of people is like they're associated with some kind of like sexual deviancy or something like that.
Yeah.
Like pedophilia, possibly, I think.
This is a TikToker I follow.
Uh-huh.
He talks about his life in prison and he answers questions from comments.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things they always say is that if you watch kiddie shows, play stuff like Dungeons and Dragons, pretty much shit like that, they'll whoop your ass because that's stuff like that is associated with what they call chomos, which is pedophilia.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's one of those things. Yeah. Let's be honest. We didn't look at bronies and say those are well-adjusted people over there.
these are contributing members of society right here, aren't they? Yeah. No, we never did say that.
Well, I don't know.
Because it's like Captain Kirk me. Hey, did you hear that those bronies were molesting kids?
No, no. You say that again.
He's like, oh.
Yeah, it's just hard to say because, you know, in the same way that they appreciate their fandom or whatever their thing is. Yeah. I mean, because we appreciate stupid shit too. Sure. That includes wrestling, fucking comic books, manga.
Yeah, anime.
I was about to say, because with anime, there's one golden fucking rule.
Yeah.
You never buy figurines used.
Yeah.
I can understand why.
Yeah, I'm not going to explain why, but you know why.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
You know why. Yeah. But yeah, dude, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but interesting people, I would say.
And you know what's funny too? Okay, if you look at other fandoms or whatever, if you look Star Wars, let's use that for example.
Yes.
You don't look at some guy dressed up as Star Wars and think to yourself, "Oh man, he's dressing up as Star Wars and fucking people," right? You think about people in My Little Pony. Oh man, they're dressing up and fucking each other. That's exactly the first thing that comes to your mind is, oh, they're doing something weird. And I wonder why that is. Is that
But is that any different from like somebody that's dressed up like a Twi'lek and somebody that's dressed up like a Jedi and they're getting down?
Sure, maybe they are, but when you see that out in the streets, well, I mean, it's not exactly the first thing that pops into your head of, oh yeah, that lady dressed as a Twi'lek. Oh yeah, she's probably going out and sucking dicks right now or whatever, you know.
But
like if you see a bunch of people dressed in Star Wars gear, you're thinking, oh, they're going to a party. They're going to go out there. You see a bunch of furries walking down the street. Oh, they're going to go fuck at the park.
they're gonna go fuck at the park.
Yeah.
In public.
That's the thing. Not only do we know they're gonna fuck, we know exactly where they're gonna go do it because that's how common this shit is.
Damn, I'm trying to play like fucking
devil's advocate.
Devil's advocate.
I don't think you can for this topic. I don't think that there is a devil's advocacy for furries essentially.
And this isn't like a condemnation of Chow himself. Like,
oh no, Chow was never a furry. I mean, as far as we know.
No, he's not a furry, but I mean, he obviously liked My Little Pony.
I was going to get into that a little in a second about how I wanted to differentiate him from the deviants.
And I don't even think it's fair that we talk about him because, I mean, that's true. Because he can't even defend himself. And we're not even
I'm not even attacking him, really.
We're not attacking him, but I was just always curious about that specifically.
I'm offended, baby.
Well, you know what? When we have him in here, I'll ask him about his My Little Pony phase and see where that goes. And just, you know, maybe he'll
we all had our bad phases.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, it's true, man.
I just can't think of one that I grew out of.
But anyways, back to the issue of. Wait, what the fuck were we talking about?
Chow personally? Like, I mean,
I wasn't going to talk shit about Chow.
Like your relationship.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I now that you mentioned that about, I am the only one that ever calls him. And I don't know why that is. I don't think he's ever texted me. I don't think he's ever communicated with me in any way whatsoever that I have not actually been the one to initiate the communication. So, is that, but he picks up the phone every time. If he didn't, theoretically, and at least maybe I'm just fucking lying to myself, but if he didn't like me or want to be friends, then wouldn't he just not answer the phone? That's pretty simple, right? Just fucking ignore me. And then eventually, well, I am kind of an asshole, so I probably wouldn't stop calling him. I'd probably just keep calling him for years and years and just be an asshole because then, you know, that's what I do. But I don't know, man. I'll have to ask him. And say, hey, man, how come you never fucking call me, you piece of shit? Why is it I'm the only one calling you?
And is his pool of friends all that big to begin with?
No, man. Okay, so all right. So you remember General Patton, right?
Yeah, like that was his. I don't know if that was his ride or die, but they were good friends.
Necessarily, it wasn't his ride or die, but they were good, close friends for a very long time. He still talks to him, and I've actually been kind of wanting to get him on one of these just to talk to him about his fucked up life story and everything because he's got a goddamn. A tale to weave. I mean, maybe it's not that interesting to most people, but I think it's fucking interesting. At least his ridiculousness of his life that he's lived.
Yeah.
You know, but in terms of that friendship, I know Chow tells me he still talks to that dude all the time. So, you know, he even follows him on Twitch. He's got a Twitch channel and he's trying to be like a professional Twitch. What is it called? Twitch streamer. Okay, whatever. Yeah, he's trying to be one of those kind of guys. And Chow. You know, Chow is say what you want about how much of a piece of shit he is and how he fucking talks shit and how he treats everybody like an asshole. Are you
sure you want to put that out into the world on this?
What?
What you're about to say.
About what? You don't know what I'm about to say.
Okay.
What I'm going to say is Chow actually subscribes to his his up and coming Twitch channel and he pays the subscription fee to help, like to try to help him out.
Yep, that's exactly what I was talking about.
What about it?
Yeah, what about it?
Because wasn't he keeping that a secret from him?
He's not listening anyways.
No, yeah.
And he's not going to go back and listen to all this other shit.
Who cares? And no, he wasn't keeping it a secret from him. I think at the beginning he was, but he's been doing this for a few years. And I think Chow has since stopped paying the $3 or whatever. But I mean, he was doing it for paying whatever $3 a week or a month or I don't know, whatever.
It's a monthly subscription.
Yeah. So whatever he was paying, I mean, he was paying it to him and he was telling him because now I think he has a few other subscribers. I think that's why Chow stopped doing it was because he now got other like people that kind of pay. Yeah. And so he was telling me something about, and again, I haven't talked to the guy directly, but this is just third-hand information from Chow, but he was basically saying how, he's making, you know, every 6 months he gets like $112 or something in a check sent to him from Twitch, which, hey man, guess what? He's a professional Twitch streamer because he just got paid money.
Yeah, he got paid, dude.
So that's all that matters. Didn't matter how much it was. He got paid. So Anyway, say what you want about Chow, but I mean, hey, he fucking did that. He helped, he at least subscribed to his channel when no one else did. But anyways, yeah, we were going to go just talk about going out to Vegas to go see him and say what's up. And, haven't seen him in almost 5 years, or a little under 5 years. Cause, he was around, he didn't move because he met Chloe. Mm-hmm. I think he came to the house one time, and then I think that was when they moved out there was right after we bought the house. Mm-hmm. So I've been telling him for years, like, oh man, we should come. It's always an excuse just to go to Vegas. That's really what it is. Let's just be honest. All right. It's just an excuse to go to Vegas and probably drink way too much and fucking, we're probably going to go to some strip clubs or whatever. And, cause we're bringing another person along. And I won't say who it is, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be some good times will be had by all.
I have a feeling. I think I know who it is.
You know exactly who it is.
It's your.
Yep. That's Mm-hmm. That's right. And no one important is gonna listen to this. So what?
Somebody will.
Oh my. All right. Well, anyways. At the end of the day, we're going to have a fun time with this other person. And, hopefully he will have some good experiences. Let's just say that. Fun times.
Yeah.
But anyway, because again, I just want to kind of go back to Vegas because shit, we haven't been in. Last time I went was, I went for my honeymoon with my wife after we got married. That's where we decided to go just because we're fucking lame, I guess. But that's the last time I went. And that was
you spent like $6.2 million on your wedding.
Yeah, man, I did spend a lot of money on that. So that needed to kind of rein in the, honeymoon expenses. Couldn't go to, the Atlantis in Jamaica or whatever it is. That is kind of where I wanted to go, but I just was, dude, we don't have that. This wedding costs way too much money.
Both of you refuse to fly. How are you going to do that?
Well, I don't care, man. I think I would have done it. Well, I would have gone by boat. Maybe I think I would have just taken.
That would have taken you like 2 months.
Yeah, but then it would have been like I'm going to live as a pirate. I don't know. Who knows? I did also want to say about because now that you brought up the wedding thing, I kind of wanted to talk about that a little. Not necessarily that I was planning on talking about it, but I just wanted to say about our wedding, man, that was expensive, but infinitely cheaper than what it should have been because the lady that no longer works there, and Katie doesn't think so, but I think this lady got fired because she gave us such a good deal because we got married on April Fool's Day. And basically the main reason we didn't have a day picked out, and we went to this place because Katie saw it. It was this really super fancy club, like not a yacht club. What is that called?
Country
club. Yeah.
And so it was super fancy, and she saw it at some fucking some wedding convention. I don't know. I didn't even know they had conventions for weddings. So she went and this place was there, and she saw it there, and they're like, oh yeah, you should really go check this place out. So she made us an appointment to go check it out. And I as soon as we drove in, I'm like, there's no fucking way we're going to be able to afford this. This is going to be like 50 grand minimum. And that ain't the kind of money we got. So we go in there. This lady goes through the whole thing and she's saying the whole spiel. And she says, okay, so what day are you guys, thinking about? And I literally told her, I said, we don't actually have a day picked out, but I'm sure this is going to be way out of our budget range. So why don't you tell me a day that you think maybe we could get this to go. And so she kind of thought about it. And so we told her what the budget was. And she's like, she gave me that look like,
I don't know.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I don't know if we can make that work for you. That's a lot lower than our normal clientele who come in here. And so we had kind of floated a day maybe. So we said, oh, well, like we like fun. We like being funny and doing all kinds of shit. So like, oh, what about April Fool's Day? I just jokingly asked her, I'm like, hey, have you ever booked a wedding on April Fool's Day? And she says, you know what? I've been doing this job for 15 years. And she said, I don't think I've ever, let me go. So she pulled out her giant ass calendar from the years and she just went back and she said, nope. She checked April 1st of every year for the last 15 years. And she said, this country club has never booked April 1st for a wedding ever. So she said, you know what? With that in mind, I think I can make your budget work. And I said, no fucking way. And she's like, yeah. So she finagled it. She said, all right. She said, write me the check for whatever for the deposit. So I fucking wrote it down. Here you go. And then we went ahead and booked it and it was all set. And then maybe I want to say 3/4 of the way through of the process of picking stuff out or going through all the stuff up until the day of our wedding, right? This lady got fired like 3/4 of the way through. And all of a sudden,
what the fuck?
Yeah, I get this email from some other lady and she's like, oh, hey, so-and-so is no longer employed here and I will be your new wedding coordinator. And so then she sends me an email and says, so I was looking at your account and I noticed that you haven't paid the rest of what is due. And up until that point, I did pay what was, because the total for the whole venue was only like $8,000, right?
Okay.
Which their minimum is like 35 grand.
Oh,
so she saw that we only paid 8 grand and said, hey, I noticed that you didn't pay the rest of the money that's due because it looks like you guys have basically the base of the rich person peasant package essentially is what we have. And she's, I noticed you haven't paid. You still have an outstanding balance of like whatever 20 something, whatever the number was, right? And I said, actually, you should probably read the fine print of what our contract says because it says right now we're paid in full that the only total amount we were supposed to pay was $8,000, whatever the change was. And so then she went back and looked at it and she said, I'll have to look into that. And so I didn't hear from this lady for like a week. And in my mind, I feel like she was going like to her whoever's bosses or whatever saying, I can't get this. They signed the deal. We signed the deal. This lady signed the contract. Like we can't do anything about this. And I think they were trying to figure out how to legally unravel it to cancel on us. And I just don't think they ever could do it. So this lady, after that, she was like, well, you guys really like, I think this was just a typo. They were trying to say all kinds of shit about how, this must have been an error or something. And there's no way. And I'm sorry. I got the paperwork right here. So you ain't canceling this shit. And ever since then, because you just got to make a mention of, I guess even though I'm not rich, I was like, I guess I'll just have to have my attorney look over this then again, if you're going to say that, blah, blah, blah. And they go, oh, okay. All right. You got us. We'll let it ride. But after that, man, they treated me like shit the whole rest of the way. Katie, I don't know what it is that she did to this lady that made her love her. But when we went, man, we got married, dude, they were drinking. They had free booze, all kinds of shit. When it came to us, right? And we were in there, they literally walked in and said, you're not allowed to drink alcohol unless you pay for it. And we were like, what the fuck? What do you mean? And so then that's when one of the other groomsmen guys went back and he got like this giant bottle of shit. And we were like sneaking shit in and they were just like, they were not happy about that. But we were just like, well, what are you going to do? And then I find out later, they're offering them fucking free mimosas and fucking, whatever, all they can drink. Fucking shit. And I'm just like, bullshit. Fucking why do I get treated this way? But yeah, I just thought that I don't know. That just reminded me of that when you're talking about our wedding thing, about how I got a smoking deal and had probably the greatest wedding of all time for like the minimal amount of price.
Yeah.
And it was just, I don't know. There was no point to that story other than that. But
hey, dude,
anyways, go ahead.
Hey, it's called the Butt Fuck Nowhere Show for a fucking reason.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Anyways,
what do you got, Frank?
Yeah, Frank, what do you got? What are you thinking?
Nothing.
You got nothing?
Nothing.
You got absolutely nothing. You mean to tell me that you've been sitting here this whole fucking time
listening to your story, your engaging story?
Well, thank you for listening to my engaging story, but prior to that, you didn't have nothing you don't got nothing to piggyback on.
Look, I'm just saying that story about your baseball career was outstanding, okay? I was so enthralled.
I swear to God, Frank, that is probably the most disrespectful thing I think you've ever said to me.
Why? Because I mentioned your career, or because I was mentioning that fact that I wasn't actually listening to your story?
Oh, it's both. Both of those things. You managed to do the two things that probably would have pissed me off of saying anything.
Guido shot first.
All right, you know what? I'm not even.
That was the third strike.
That's it. I'm just gonna.
You're fucking dead.
You're dead.
All right. Well, shit.
What do you got, Adam? You got anything to rail about? You got anything that pissed you off this week? Anything,
Yeah, dude. So to continue the ongoing story of the artist that I was speaking to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
Yeah. So she actually reached out to me 2 weeks after the fact that I messaged her, and she says, oh, hey, sorry, I haven't, I saw your message, but I didn't, immediately write back.
Yeah.
Here's my label's PR person or whatever. This is her email, and you can contact her to submit a request, basically, to interview her. And I talked to you about this earlier in the day because I just showed you what the screenshot of the message, and I'm just thinking, fucking A, dude. I'm personally becoming. I want to like the people that make the music that I listen to.
Yeah.
I want to like, I don't want to say I want to be friends with them, but I want to at least be acquaintances and, like just, not be so formal or anything like that. Like,
right. Yeah.
Like that we could just have a conversation or whatever and we can keep in touch. And, I it's mainly about the music, but like to some regard, it would be personal, but this person, she's building the case for me to be personally detached from artists. Like, it's about the music. I'll be enthusiastic about whatever person I'll be interviewing.
Yeah.
But that's where it ends. Like, I'm not going to personally give a fuck about them as a person or whatever. And what I explained to you was that my belief is that she sent me this email address with the intention that she's creating a scapegoat for her, she's creating a scapegoat as to why she won't be doing an interview for the show that she's doing in the future. And at that point, I told you, I'm like, if I don't get a yes from this, like, I'm not going to push it or anything like that. Like, I'm already over it.
Right. Yeah.
That it's almost like the exact same thing for fucking dating. When you're messaging somebody 2 or 3 times, and all you get is like a response that's like a short message, or they're putting hurdles for you to jump over. Where like, oh, do you want to go meet up and get coffee, or you want to go grab some pizza at this place?
Yeah.
If the person was invested in you or they had any interest, they wouldn't be creating obstacles for you to fucking jump over unless they're a really sick person. And not to say that she's sick or anything, but I'm embellishing.
Yeah.
But the point being that anybody that's making obstacles for you to have a relationship with someone else, or even just trying to come to an understanding with another person, like through you meeting them.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm not doing that shit with anybody, dude. I'm not doing that with professional relationships. I'm not doing that with personal relationships. I'm not even doing that with romantic relationships. I'm not entertaining people that are going to do that type of shit to make me fucking jump through hoops or dance, monkey dance. Like,
I mean, yeah.
So, I sent the email. And this is just for me to be thorough and just say, like, I fucking did it.
You did it so that you can get denied.
Yeah, so I can get denied, basically get denied. I'm assuming I'm going to get a no. I don't really care if I get a yes now. But it's just to follow through and say that I did it. And if I get a no, I get to say, well, I went through all the channels and I did the best that I could.
Right, yeah.
But for our future, and this is speaking broadly for anything that we do as far as like interviews or I know we're going to get fucking no's. I know we're going to get no's across the board from whatever, for our sake, we're called Game Rage. We're Game Rage, right?
Yeah.
You reached out to Bethesda and asked them about some of their new games that they've been developing that you want to review or write a feature about or whatever it might be, right?
Right, yeah.
What do you think the chances are that you would get that?
Well, in reality, I think that probably has a pretty decent chance of them saying, "Oh yeah, sure, go ahead and use this or whatever." Because to them, I mean, they probably don't really give a shit. This is some no-name internet publication in their mind. That's how probably we would be viewed.
It's just going to be like it's every inch of publicity we can possibly get.
Yeah,
but at the same time, if we were to ask, "Hey, can we get in on the head release of that Starfield,
or can we get like a dev that we could speak to or something?"
Right. They would tell us to go straight.
Go fuck
yourself.
off.
Yeah, They would not even enter. The guy reading the email would laugh and then just hit delete.
It wouldn't even get to him.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even get to him. The AI filter was going to be like,
all right.
Yeah.
So
here comes 5.
There's 5. There you go.
Oh, 6.
We're working our way to 10 now. We're getting the 10 count.
Do you remember that
perfect 10?
Do you remember that dude in a big dude that we used to go to RTC with, and that fool would sneeze literally like one time we counted it was like 32 times.
Oh yeah.
Sweet Lord.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
I just remember him because I was doing the color guard inspection of our new recruits, and he was also there checking their cadences, and he's walking. This motherfucker crashed into a parked car.
Just walked right into it.
Yeah. Sorry, anyways.
Oh no. Yeah, so just it's just been having me thinking, like, if we're if we're working our way towards stuff like that, where we need to ask for things, well,
yeah,
like to submit a bid for whatever it is we're doing, like, for video game features or whatever it might be. I mean, we're probably going to get a lot of no's, but what do you think it's going to take for us to get, if you had to estimate what it would take to get to a level where the Game Rage brand is so recognizable that people are like, hey, you know what? Maybe we should fucking, what do you think it'll take if you had to quantify what the goals would be for us to get to that point? Because I'm sick of this shit, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sick of fucking like talking to artists, and I feel like I have to fucking jump through hoops. Like, oh, I don't have enough followers. I'm internally, I'm thinking I gotta have a certain amount of followers in order for people to think, okay, this is worth it for them. But I was already invested in them. Like,
and that's the thing too, is it's a combination, and I'll get to I'll answer your question. I'm not dancing around that, but I think it's a combination of it's this gatekeeping that once somebody's in some sort of industry, and this isn't just necessarily to deal with entertainment, but everything in general, once you're like on the inside, right, then there's this weird gatekeeping where, oh, you want to keep people out that maybe you don't think are worth it or what have you. So, oh yeah, you'll maybe entertain them to find out, oh, what is it that I could get out of this potentially, right? And then they find out, maybe they can't really give me that much. So, I'm gonna TD this on to someone else. I'm just gonna fucking let somebody else tell them to go fuck off, because it's not even worth my time to tell that. And that's the part that pisses me off the most about your situation in general, is like, at least this person could have the decency to tell you to go fuck themselves, right? Yeah. Don't let some fucking middleman tell me to fuck off. To have the balls to just say, nah, you know what, man, I'm not really interested in doing that.
And tell me the truth, dude. Right. Like, I mean, they don't owe it to me, but
sure,
if they did, I would love a legitimate fucking reason to say, you know what? I would love to do an interview, but you don't have enough followers for me to justify doing this, because I feel like I'm doing you a favor. Thanks. That would be a proper answer. Like, you know what? You're right. I don't have a large following, but I'm working on it.
And that's where, to kind of go back to your specific question about what I think it would take. I think it would take, we are going to have some kind of legitimate people potentially to be either interviewed, or we're going to have to be somehow involved with something legitimate, or taking something like this. Is kind of why I want to kind of target indie game developers, like, on Steam and stuff, is to try to whatever little following we have, maybe help them get some more people to buy their shit. And anybody that they have that's following us, following them, could potentially then follow us in turn. And if we can, it's like the symbiosis, right? And that's where I think us coming from the good place of, I'm not literally trying to hit these guys up to be like, oh yes, what can I get out of them? I'm going to suck every fan out of them I can. No, I legitimately just kind of want to help them out. Or if it's something of theirs that I legitimately like. And this is the one thing that I was thinking about the other day. I don't know why I was thinking about this when I was taking a shower, but I literally just thought to myself, this is why I never want to fucking take money or take anything from a developer or anyone to review their shit, right? I'm not going to I don't even know if I would necessarily want to take a free review copy, just because of the fact that I don't want to be tied to, oh, we gave you this, so we expect a certain result out of you, right?
Yeah, like, now, it's going to be, the game is awesome because you gave me a copy.
Yeah, now, and that's kind of how I feel a lot of stuff's become in other thing. And I'm not saying we should just directly shit on things, but if something sucks, it shouldn't be hard for you, or shouldn't be taboo to say, hey, I didn't like this. Whereas I feel like most, because of the PR machines that are out there, they're sending out, let's just use let's make up a game. There's this water bottle in front of me, the water bottle gnome game. Okay, let's just say that's a hot game coming out. They're going to take that game and they're going to send it to all the publications and say, hey, here's a little money to go with this, or here's a little something, and in return, we want you to give us a positive review. They're not going to tell them specifically what the review needs to say or what score it needs to get, but it's generally, this needs to be a positive vibe. And then it's in the interest of the person writing the thing, because they're obviously getting paid to comply.
Or maybe it's not even money. It's what they will do if you don't write a review. Like, oh, we're going to take away your privileges of
right. We're going to say, oh, well, you can't get these early review copies anymore. You can't get this. And yes, are we at a disadvantage because maybe we won't get, and that's one thing that I want to make clear to anybody that comes and, any developer, whoever, and that wants to say, oh, hey, we want to give you a early review copy or whatever. Just because you're giving me this, I'm not going to, if this game sucked balls, I'm going to say so. I'm not going to be, that's the beauty of this whole thing, right? Is we're not beholden to anyone else, and we don't have to sit here and there's no one up above saying, hey, guys, we really don't think you should talk about this stuff about developers, or we really don't think you should talk about this because we need to maintain an image of like, oh, we can't talk about this certain thing or that certain thing. Well, no. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Just to say, we can talk about whatever the fuck we want and say what we want and be beholden essentially to no one, right?
Yeah. And if there was one other subject that I wanted to add to this, I think is congruent to what you're saying, is that the gatekeeping thing. And like I said, I'm not throwing shade at this artist. Maybe it's just the nature of the beast, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe it's just the way things are. But personally speaking, like this past 1 or 2 weeks, I had a group reach out to me via email, and I didn't I'd never expected anybody to reach out to me like via email, like the official email of my Instagram account.
Yeah.
But I got an email and they were like, oh, hey, we have this EP that came out. We're like a fairly new band.
Yeah.
And like we exchanged a couple emails. I told them, oh, cool. I'll give it a listen. I'll tell you what I like or don't like about it. And I think this band I think they're good. They obviously are kind of like rough around the edges and stuff, but I think there's something there, obviously.
Yeah.
And I wrote that to them and I said, like, here's what I think your best song is. And you know what? Like, I do enjoy it. So I'll feature it like on my program and like, I'm cool with doing that. And I said, hey, like, so I don't remember specifically what they said, but it was something, because I asked them like, hey, how did you find out about me? And why is it that you reached out to me? Like, I don't have a big following or anything like that, but like, why did you reach out to me? And they're like, well, we try to find things that we think align with us. And based on what we've seen on your profile, we think that, we think we have a good chance of you like looking at our music and thinking it's good or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's fair. Like I just wanted to know like how that because usually a lot of bands, whenever they reach out to somebody, they just do like a shotgun method with like a copy pasta that they have where it's just kind of like a template thing. I'm like, okay, cool. Like these guys actually responded not only to what I said about their music, but they also were willing to answer my question about why.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like, dude, fuck it. I'm not going to be a gatekeeper to these people to say that like, that I'm not even going to bother listening to their music. I'm not going to read their email. Like, I don't want to be a gatekeeper for anything we do. Like,
right. Yeah.
I want to give everybody the opportunity to be reviewed or to even give them like a spotlight. Like, I don't think to whatever degree, to whatever extent that we can, I think we should just give everybody the chance that we're not being afforded the opportunity for like in the future. Like, cause I know, like I said, I know we're going to get no's for everything.
Oh yeah.
But I don't want to be the obstacle for other fucking people.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I think, we've all kind of talked about this a little bit is, hey, if somebody comes to us and says, oh man, I got this idea, I want to do this thing, but I don't know how, or I don't have the capability or whatever. I'm not going to sit there and say, yeah, you're an idiot. Go fuck yourself. I don't have time for you. No, even if this thing turns into just this huge fucking thing, let's just say this huge iconic thing, I don't ever want to lose that. I don't ever want to lose sight of, oh man, we literally started doing this for fun basically. And then turning it into something that could potentially be, I don't want to say a career, but something that could, help us out, in the long run. Right. Or get us access to things that we would never have gotten access to, I don't want to be stopping other people, like you said, gatekeeping them from doing anything like that. If I can help somebody, oh yeah, man, absolutely. I want to help them in any way I can. And, maybe I really can't help people, but you know what? I think coming from the good place of that is something I think it's probably refreshing in the type of stuff that we're doing. Cause I do feel like there's a lot of that. Oh, if somebody has an example of, and I'm sure there are examples to counter this. I'm not saying everybody's this way, but I'm just saying I'm sure it exists out there where there's people that have like a It's generally small to medium sized podcast, and someone else is kind of like, hey man, maybe I can help you get on my own podcast, something blah blah blah, and they go, nah man, I'm too big for that now. They get that attitude, and a lot of people get that attitude, and that's something that I don't ever want to get to, and or develop that attitude where nah man, we ain't got time for that shit. Nah man, I always got time for that. So what do you think about that, Frank? Agree. You got anything else to add to it?
To that? No, not really, because you pretty much did all my points right there.
Let's go. Well, I see. It's good to know that we're on the same, wavelength, I guess, in terms of that.
If I had to estimate what it would take, I don't know if this is the rubric for what is actually going to happen, but I feel as though, kind of what you were saying, I think for a year or for 2 years, I think we need to find, because there's 24 months in 2 years, right? If we hit 12 interviews, I think one good year of interviews between the 2 years, with people that are interesting or they bring something to the table. And as far as video games go, if you actually had the opportunity to review small developers and speak with the developers themselves, and we posted it on our website or have it on our YouTube channel, and then people see it back to back, like the video playlist, the ones you get automatically curated for a channel. That I think if people see that, I think that's one case where that's where we become a little bit more legitimate, is we have 24 to 30 videos. Maybe we might get more interviews, but I'm just saying that if in the case that we actually get one interview per month, which would be great.
That'd be astounding.
Yeah. It'd be fucking great. I think that's the case where maybe we become legitimate. As far as the musings go, the writings and shit, I don't know. You said you've looked it up, right?
I've already essentially the writings or whatever, that aspect of it. I mean, not to just sound like an asshole, but that's almost just clickbait at this point. But it's clickbait that actually is going to talk about what it's talking about, right? Mm-hmm. So and yes, it's AI enhanced, right? Because that's just I don't think people are reading shit, but I do know people will click shit from their phone, and then potentially, if that leads to them being able to listen to us talk about shit and doing this and doing that, cool. Maybe that's somebody who's a follower, and that's kind of what it's about. I think we've said this before, but it's about I want to develop a community, right? This is still semi-related, but last week somebody was talking shit and telling me fucking all this horrible shit about, this is stupid. You're never going to fucking you're never going to make any money. They have friends that are actual celebrities and they fucking don't make any money doing podcasts. And I'm like, listen, that's not the fucking entirety of the fucking scope of this whole thing. And B, I'm not necessarily doing it. The money is not the main focus. It's really gaining the experiences and doing things that we want to do that we otherwise, if we didn't have this platform or we didn't have this entity, we probably wouldn't be able to get to go do. One of my goals, for example, is I want to get us into Comic-Con as press. Now, granted, that's probably a lofty goal, all right? Because Comic-Con's a really legit thing and there's a lot of motherfuckers trying to get in there as press. So I don't know if that's necessarily possible.
WonderCon would be more, that would be a cool one.
Probably realistic to get into, right? WonderCon or Anime Expo. We could probably get in there. We got into that GameStop Expo that one time, and I think that was completely by accident. I think they just fucked up, but who cares? We still got to go as press. We had our things on there, and we didn't know what the fuck to do with it because we were just, oh shit, we actually got in. Oh, what? But it happened. And so me and Frank got to go to the expo and see all this cool shit that was up and coming and not even out yet. And that was fucking sweet as shit. And if we could just get experiences like that, man, that would make all this worth it, So, but anyway, someone was telling me, talking shit and saying things about this and that. And again, that's not the focus of this. It's to get these experiences. And if we can help other people get those experiences too, cool. And as far as, what it would take, I agree. If we could get 12 legit solid interviews, and it doesn't have to be super famous fucking people. I mean, it could just be anybody within either the gaming, in any of the industries that we even talk about. And hell, listen, if some asshole that's semi decent in the car industry wants to come talk to us, fuck, I'll interview him. I don't give a shit. I'll talk to him. And who cares? It's somebody from whatever car company that could talk to us about some bullshit. Maybe as long as we can have an engaging interview, I think that would be fine. That would count. I'm not going to be saying, oh no, fuck that. I wouldn't I wouldn't turn anyone away, I guess, that was willing to be interviewed for sure. Definitely not.
One thing I've been curious about is that we all have intersecting interests, right?
Yeah.
But also what we project out as far as like the website or even what we're doing, it covers an array of things, right?
Oh yeah.
There's a podcast for each one of those things. And what do you think about like other, because you kind of mentioned something about that there's like, and I've seen it myself. I've seen that there are podcasts that exist that are like strictly for crime related stories, or even horror, or even conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
But we're kind of doing not all of it, but we're doing a number of things.
Right.
And I feel like that's a good thing compared to like maybe some other people that only cover sports, like, or only cover.
Right. Yeah.
Only cover horror, only cover that. But we're talking about many things, and with possibly a growing list that we
there's definitely a growing list. I mean, I think that we will likely by the end of this 2023 year have 10 different, up to 10, likely 10, close to 10. The number might be like 8 or 9, but it could hit 10 different podcasts actually up and out there on the internet. And at the rate we're going, especially if we get into that, if we're able to get into that spot that I was saying about, that'll help kind of hyper focus what we're doing, and we can meet up, not that this is an inconvenient place to do it, but that kind of, I don't know, there's no distractions and that kind of thing. So that will, I think, again, let us be able to put out more content and more episodes. I mean, in just the 8 weeks we've been doing this, we've made 24.3 hours of content, right? So literally an entire day's worth of listening audio, essentially. So that's a pretty good pace. And that's only us just meeting generally like once a week. So, I think that if we stay consistent and we get, like we had said, a couple of the interviews, some things, that could do good for us in the sense of, I just totally forgot what the fuck the question was, or what was the main. My train.
The question was specifically about how other podcasters, and like I said, I respect everything everybody else is doing,
right?
But I don't like being invested in one thing too much.
True. Yeah. It's diverse. It's like that thing you got to diversify your bonds, you gotta be in multiple different pies, or have your finger in all kinds of different things. And again, I think, because personally for me, if I'm listening to let's say I go listen to a Star Wars podcast, and then they start talking about some other bullshit, I don't know, whatever, just go on some at least our tangents are relevant to the topic that we're talking about, right? We stay on that general same Star Wars topic, right? So I think that's where a lot of people, if you don't have these multiple outlets, like, okay, cool, you have a Star Wars podcast, but let's say you also like anime, or you also like this, then that's all going to kind of bleed into your Star Wars themed podcast. So then it's like, okay, just peel off and make another podcast, right? And that's kind of what we're doing, is we're just kind of peeling off each individual interest so that it's got a super hyper focused thing, so that, cool, everybody who just wants to hear about anime, all right, cool, you go listen to the anime podcast. And yes, sure, there are references to Star Wars, there's references to things in there, but our tangents generally stay on anime, right? And so same thing with, the Star Wars one, or same thing with the wrestling one. It's hyper specific to each topic, and it allows us, and that's kind of why I feel like we've been able to go not the distance, that's not the right word, but have such length on each podcast, is because if we were to just kind of go at random and talk about random shit, I mean, like this one, for example, right? This one we're just talking about random shit, right? And that's the whole premise of it. It's just random shit. So anybody coming to listen to it knows, man, I don't know what the hell I'm going to hear today, right? But if you tune into our Star Wars podcast, you're going to likely hear a bunch of shit about Star Wars. If you turn into anime, you're going to likely hear a bunch of shit about anime. And I have heard not to disrespect, again, like Adam said, other podcasts and stuff, but I've heard ones that are just, they're trying to be an anime podcast, and they end up talking about a bunch of other shit. And then people kind of, at least I just go like, oh man, like I'm just checking out, right? And so it's like, cool, you already are into that stuff. Just make another thing for it. It's not like too terribly difficult. The podcast hosting it's like one price for as many as you want, basically. So it's not like it's going to cost you more money to do, or it's not like it's going to be inconvenient for you. It just format something else. Yeah, granted, now I've had to make more logos and other shit. Sure, maybe that's an inconvenience, but at the end of the day, I feel like it kind of helps our potential audience to filter what they want and get the experience that they want from us, as opposed to just getting one thing and this is it, you know?
Yeah. And like getting, if we actually did stick to doing one podcast, the Butt Fuck Nowhere Show was the all encompassing one, then they only get 10 minutes of anime. Right. They'd only get 10 minutes of movies or television or Star Wars, but nothing would ever be a engrossed conversation with the finer details. It would be like a surface level shit. Yeah. We'd never really get to.
Yeah, exactly.
To something that we would want.
And that's kind of too where I think we've been, and obviously, and that's another thing. This is kind of a skill, right? Being able to sit here and talk to each other, right? I mean, granted, you do it all your life, you do it every time, but to talk and be engaging is a skill. And I do think that we, over the years, for sure, have gotten better at it. And even as we start from episode 1 until in 12 months time, whatever episode we're on for each individual podcast, I'm sure there's going to be a difference of people could tell, oh man, they've improved in this way. They've improved in that way in terms of, us talking about certain things and the way that we flow with the show, or the way that we, don't have dead air, or whatever you want to call it, right? I'm sure there's going to be lots of improvements. And as the more often that we do this, the more we're going to get, obviously better at it.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying that we're bad at it, but
there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because if you're the perfect number one, then what is that? That's the only place you can go is down, right? So
yeah,
you might as well try to at least improve on stuff. So
I don't know if this is a whole topic in and of itself, but you kind of told me about something about a coworker that has been inspired by you.
Because
you've been grinding.
Yeah. So just to be,
I wasn't done yet.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Shut up, Josh.
I know I have that problem. Sorry. Go ahead.
So I think that's, for me personally, like just hearing about what you're saying is kind of a good sign about where we're going. If you've convinced somebody that and not to, I don't know if you're like a leader or anything, but like if you're an example for somebody else to think, shit, well, this guy is grinding aside from his job. Like, you're doing your job or whatever, but you're also taking care of something else. Like, it feels as though you have the answers for things, and you may not feel that way, but you convince somebody else that you are on the right path for something, and that they are becoming inspired, and they're now pursuing their own creative endeavors, right? So I feel like, and I don't know if this topic specifically is about affirmations, but I know we've talked about it, like the Dave Goggins thing about being obsessed with something to the point that people think you're delusional or ludicrous or whatever you want to call it. But it's also a good sign when people are looking at you and thinking, oh shit, this guy's doing something. Like, what the fuck is he on about? Like, what's so important that he's doing something else that he's, well, anyways, I was curious to know what your thoughts on that matter are regarding your coworker that is now inspired by you after we're doing all this shit. Cause I don't know how much you've told him, cause you've just been doing Photoshop and
right. Yeah.
Yeah. But have you
So
talk in detail about some of the stuff.
Here's what I'll preface this with, just in case, so I will just say, this is a fictional, for legal purposes, this is a fictionalized story that is definitely not true.
Oh my okay.
No. I'm just saying, just so that if anybody listens to this and wants to say, oh man, he admitted to doing certain things. Oh no, this is just completely fictional and this is all made up and this is just for fun. All right. This is just a story. That's all it is. So anyways, this person that we're specifically referencing is someone who has been in the industry of entertainment, I guess, or whatever. And I've been sitting there at work, doing essentially not my job, right? So I just think, well, listen, you know what? To be honest with you, it's probably the best thing that could fucking happen right now, right? If I just got somebody listening to this at work and they fired my ass, oh God, that'd probably be the best thing that could ever happen to me. But if this guy is looking at someone, or I'll just use this as an example. Let's just say it's not even me. Let's just say this is some theoretical person they're at their job that they fucking hate, that they fucking want to fucking just kill everybody there. Okay. This is a fictional person. Okay. Let's just make that clear. Let's say this is a theoretical person. They hate their job. they fucking don't want to be there, but they've got something else going on.
Yeah, it could be a lot of people.
Sure.
Honestly, it's applicable to many people.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure it's applicable to fucking most people. So let's just say this person's there and they're okay. You know what? I'm gonna spend my time at this place doing something to get this other thing going, because maybe they have some downtime or maybe they got some free time. So I'm going to spend whatever free time I can doing this other side thing that they're trying to get going. Right. So they're sitting there and they're grinding it and they're doing it. And someone else looks over and sees, oh, what is so important that this guy's not doing his job, or this person's not doing his job?
Well, no, you're doing your job in addition to,
right, but
not you personally, but the person's doing their job.
Doing their job. But like, or what's so important that they're maybe not, they're doing that. They're doing this extra shit. When we're whatever's going on, maybe it's dead, or maybe there's no shit going on, or no people coming in or whatever. And it's like, what is this guy doing that is so important that he's doing it that he's doing it here? Oh, what is this? And then, they ask the person of something and they start telling them about whatever. And then they go, oh shit, maybe I should be doing something. Maybe I should be doing whatever it was that I was doing and pushing something else to potentially further my side gig or whatever's going on, right? And so to see that happen, and you're talking about affirmation stuff, that definitely, I feel like that kind of is. I didn't really think about it until you had said, oh man, about this affirmations thing, but when we were talking the other day, but yeah, it kind of is. It's kind of a, oh man, okay, I'm on the right track, or they're on the right track of, if other people, now granted, I have gotten a lot, as I have said, of the things of the, oh man, I'm crazy, you're a fucking psychopath, Josh, what are you doing? Why are you even wasting your fucking time with this shit? I've gotten a lot of that, which is why I don't really tell people shit, because I just don't really want to hear it anymore. And I don't give a fuck what they think if they don't want to be supportive. So whatever. But to have someone kind of do that, and then to have them say, oh man, kind of inspired me to do whatever, the A, B, or C, or whatever the case may be. I do think that is, oh man, another just step in the right direction of confirming, yeah, man, you're going in the right way. You're on the right path. It took a shit ton to get there. It took a lot of fucking ups. It took a lot of downs. It took a lot of bullshit to get to the path of like, okay, finding where you're going. But then to have someone else who has no investment, doesn't even really know you, just didn't need to say shit to say it. Oh, hey man, it's good to know.
The other side of the spectrum of people talking shit on you, you've been the recipient of that, and I also think that's also something promising as well, because it has nothing to do with you personally, right? I think it has more to do with other people settling for mediocrity. That they think, like, for you to try and do something, they're thinking, this motherfucker doesn't have the talent to do it, like, or whatever it might be. That they want you to settle for less, like to settle in whatever the customary life might be, whether that's getting married. I'm not talking about you specifically, but a lot of people get comfortable with just, and that's fine. Like maybe that's what they want. They just want to own a house. Maybe they don't want to get married. Maybe they want to get married and they want to own a house. But that's customary for a lot of people to just go for those things, and that's it for them. And here we are, like shooting. We're trying to do something greater than ourselves, and maybe other people are too. And for other people to say, no, you can't do that. It's like, no, comply, conform. It's like the fucking Matrix, dude. It's like the world saying you can't do these fucking things, dude.
Careful, don't go down that road.
Well, I mean, honestly, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's
the argument for free will, dude.
Right?
It really is, because you're trying to say that the world does not influence my decision making. You're saying beyond everything, beyond the world itself, the universe itself, I decide my own destiny. Like,
and I think that most people, it's again, hate making the comparison because everything goes back to it's the Matrix, but that's what it is. It's that same thing. It's these people. Most people have been programmed from birth to wake up at 8 a.m. Get up, go to school, do this. You're there for 9 or 8 hours or whatever. You do your work, you go home. And then that whole indoctrination process of the first 13 or 14 years of our lives as in children, as being a child. And then you translate it into the workplace. It's the same thing. Literally all going to school. Now, I'm not talking about school, but all that is it's literally an indoctrination process to get you to become a work slave, essentially, right? And so everybody's so indoctrinated with that culture of, oh, what is this guy doing? What are you doing that's never going to work? Why even try? That's the whole indoctrination is, you've got a decent paying job. You've got some decent benefits, right? Settle. That's all you need. That's what they want you to do. They want you to settle. They want you to just be in the system, and that's it. And anybody who tries to go out, it's gatekeeping, but it's someone who's not outside the system gatekeeping you from trying to be in the system. It's like the craziest fucking shit, because it's like, okay, you're going to sit here and tell me I can't do this or I shouldn't do this, but what makes you an expert on this situation? Why do you say these things? And it's just the programming kicking in saying
it's because it's all they know. Like,
right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. All they know is to, like you said, conform, comply, do the right thing. That's it. That's all they know. And if they see someone stepping out of bounds a little bit, oh no, that's got to be shut down immediately. We have to talk shit about this as much as we possibly can and make this motherfucker feel so bad that they just stop and go back to complying and conforming.
And even then, dude, like, if you stopped, what else is there to go back to? You're just going to live the same fucking life. If you didn't put the effort to do something beyond yourself, like for us to do all this shit, what's there to go back to? Nothing.
And that's one of the, like, that is a very, very salient point that you just made. And I maybe didn't realize it now until you just said that. But for me, there is no going back. There is no going back to just not doing this. There is no, oh man, I'm just not going to do this anymore. That's like not an option. And that's part of, I guess, you that's part of the obsession. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's the addiction of being obsessed with this speaking, but that's it. Or the discipline, I should say, because it's not necessarily, addiction is in a negative light, but the discipline that's been developed is, oh nah, bitch, there's no stopping this. There's no brakes on this fucking train here, son. Like that, this is it. This is the only way. This is the way, right? That's what it is.
Yeah, dude. Sorry.
This is the way.
Yeah, we're tying the Star Wars reference into this. So.
Yeah. Why not? Because fuck it. But that's it. There's no. I don't see. Yeah, what is there to go back to? To nothing? To going back to just being fucking miserable? At least I get enjoyment out of this. I enjoy fucking us sitting here hanging out at least 2 or 3 hours a week.
It also turns like. It honestly turns everything that we're touching, whether that's like anime or Star Wars, it turns it. I don't know if it'll turn into like a money making machine, but that's the hope, right?
Right. Yeah.
It turns something from a hobby into potentially like a business.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's cool. Like, with that, we're taking. It's not just for the entertainment aspect that we're enjoying something. It's finding out a way to sharing our own perspective and also capitalizing on that with possibly some profit.
Hopefully. I mean, potentially.
I don't like talking about myself too much, but if I had to add one more thing, so I think I sent you something earlier today that was kind of, it was 2 instances.
Yeah.
So 2 or 3 weeks ago, I found this band from Australia that I was really enthusiastic about. They didn't have a large following. They weren't. It was from a subreddit. And somebody just posted this band, and they didn't get like a whole lot of reception, like upvotes or comments or anything like that. But I listened to it. I thought, oh wow, this is a great band. And I look it up where they're from. They're from Melbourne, Australia. I'm like, oh my god, this is like the 5th or 6th. This is like the 7th band that I found from the region. And anyways, so I wrote in a story, I said, this is a really great band from Australia. I don't know what's going on in Melbourne, but there's something happening where there's 5 or 7 bands that are really fucking bitching from different parts of the music scene, like, you know, post-punk, proto-punk, whatever, like the spectrum of sound within that.
Yeah.
I said, I think this band is going to end up on US radio. It's going to end up on this radio station called KCRW, and it's going to end up on Henry Rollins, who is somebody that used to be part of Black Flag. I said it's going to end up in this program. Saturday when I was coming home from watching Oppenheimer, I turned on the radio, forgetting the fact that I wrote all this stuff. The guy's program comes on, and I hear him talking about Split System, the band that I was talking about. I'm like, I predicted this fucking 8 days ago or 10 days ago or whatever it is now. And I feel like it kind of speaks to my acuity for music to not only perceive good music, but also recognize that other people are going to see value in it too. The second thing that happened is that the radio station that I've been working for finally, not that we were expecting to get like recognized or anything, but TuneIn, the app, which is a platform that has millions of radio stations. It's kind of like iHeartRadio basically.
Yeah. Okay.
But we got recognized for that shit for our radio station. I'm like, oh, cool. 2 instances that are promising things, affirmations that say I'm on the right track. And it's not even specifically about music. It's just kind of saying in general that there's things. I don't know if it's the universe. I don't know I can't speak to divinity or like the divine hand intervening, but I feel like we're getting cues, dude. I don't know what it is, but I feel like we're getting cues from the universe that we're on the right track. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think you're right. I think that's kind of been something that's been happening. Yeah, for sure. Over the last few weeks of, we're getting those hints of, all right. Yeah. Hey, you motherfuckers unlocked some secret cheat codes. Come on, fucking, keep going, bitch. Keep going. Yeah. Here, let me sprinkle you some of those here. Just on a completely side tangent. This is a very serious question too. So in relation to the Australian, music scene, do you think that the rise in popularity of the Australian dog show Bluey has made more people open to potentially hearing about these Australian bands? And maybe that's why, because a lot of adults, my kid watches that show, so therefore I watch it. Do you think that maybe people are more receptive to the idea of things from Australia, and maybe that's why they're kind of like,
maybe if for every 9 out of 10 of those people didn't even pick up on the fact that he was Australian.
Who? The dogs?
Yeah.
Who the fuck did they fucking speak with an accent?
Does that honestly surprise you?
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
Does that honestly in a society where people, I'm not going to go down that road, but we have fucking retarded people like that one lady.
Yeah.
Like that.
I'm not going to go down that road, and then I'm going to immediately go down that road.
No, I was going to go down
a different road. Okay, all right.
No, because at this point that word's become synonymous with a low IQ, where people with mental disabilities are probably smarter than me. Right. There's a difference. Mm-hmm. Now, there's this one lady. She's a fucking influencer, and she was on the H3 podcast, and she was going on about how if it wasn't for Isaac Newton, she clarified herself, Sir Isaac Newton,
okay.
Because he invented gravity, that it fucked up all our shit.
He invented gravity.
I think I did see that.
Okay.
They said that without it, we'd be just fine. And then Ethan was like reaffirming. So you're saying that there was a time on Earth that gravity didn't exist? Yes.
That's awesome. I love that. That until this idea dropped in Sir Isaac Newton's head. So whatever that time period, yeah. For that idea to pop in his head, gravity thus came from the heavens, and
now it exists.
And now gravity exists. That is preposterous and widely stupid.
One of those not writing prompts, but like one of those prompts just to make you think.
Yeah.
If you were given the power to make anything you thought of come into creation, would you want that power?
No,
man, I don't think so.
Personally, no, I wouldn't.
And the guy who answered the question said it perfectly. No. Do you know how many times I'm driving down the road and I just think, oh, there's a person.
Or do you ever driving down the road and you look at the people and you just think in your mind, just like you're just machine gunning them down? I don't know. All the time.
Or worst case, I'm driving down the street and I see a bunch of birds. God, dude, if one of them dive bombs me, hits my engine, I can swerve off the cliff. Oh crap, it's happening.
Yeah, to answer your question, I have no idea what the fuck to say to that.
All right. I don't know. I was just curious. I thought maybe that was,
He said it was a serious question, but let's be honest. It was super surreal.
I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. All I could say is that Australia already has great artists.
Hey, are you saying that the current popularity of Australian culture
is due to Bluey?
Is due to Bluey.
Entirely to Bluey?
And no one else?
100% I'm saying that's what it is.
So, I mean, it's not Steve Irwin, not the Crocodile Hunter.
No.
It's the next thing. It's the next thing.
I'm not saying that those things weren't popular or whatever. What I'm saying is the current resurgence in Australianisms is because of all these assholes watching Bluey. because all these kids love it, and they're saying like, okay, well, what's Chloe saying in the car? Oh, you cheeky Mr. Frank, saying Australian
says
word.
that?
Yes, she says things. All of her friends, most of her friends, I think now speak with an Australian accent because they don't know any better. They all watch it. Yeah, they say cheek. Oh, he's so cheeky, you know, blah blah blah. And
but you can't blame the Australians for. Like I told you can't blame the Australians for that one. That's more of a British term,
right? But the point still stands.
I mean, and it wasn't like they changed it to their acronyms. No, not acronyms. They didn't adopt it into a different version of the word like we do with the British words here. Like,
like shop only has one P and no E.
Yeah. Or how we spell honor.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers, dude. They think they're all elegant with their,
spellings.
Because the way we say words, the way we say things makes sense. Like, what's this?
What's a light switch?
Oh, you mean it's not a flippy doobity light lizard? Flippy dobbly light dongle?
The spelling shit is the one that
it gets you.
Like the color with a U, to add a U at the very end.
Why?
Color.
What the fuck?
What do you
try to sound more
like? It sounds like somebody made nicknames for things and just said, "No, this is our language." Like a semi truck. We call them semi trucks because of many fucking reasons, but they call it a lorry.
A lorry? What the fuck?
I mean, doesn't that sound like it was a nickname? Or like a slang term? But no, that's like our language.
Okay, the one I do agree with, because cookies implies that they're cooked, right? For cookies?
Yeah, okay.
But they're baked.
So what do they call them? Bakies?
They call them biscuits. They call cookies biscuits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
That one makes sense.
They call fries chips.
Does that make sense?
That doesn't make sense to me.
That one, I don't know how to explain. That's like the same thing as X, the new Twitter, to call tweets.
Because
what do they call X's?
And what do they call retweets? Do they call re-X's? Like, what the fuck?
Double X's.
Oh, it's still called Twitter.
Shit. Hey, call me up, Elon. We could do some good shit for you. Come on, man.
The logo's X. The company is still called Twitter right now. But I don't know when that's going to happen because the app still says Twitter, but the logo's still
No, look, the app says X now. Like,
mine said Twitter this morning.
I don't know. They just changed it on Apple. See? X. It's just an X. Like, X.
Some people are...
I don't like it.
Oh.
I don't like it, man. Some people are what?
So, you know how like the X sign went up? There was the Twitter on the building itself. There was the Twitter little
the
bar
bird
thing
with
the
where
the name of the building,
bird,
right?
Yeah.
So that thing's gone. I think it's not turned on, but they replaced it with a fucking X, and it's shining light at a apartment building right across the street. So people are like, "Oh, that's smart!" Like creating a really fucking annoying, light pattern, so that you make all the tenants leave, and it kind of devalues
the buildings,
the building itself.
It's San Francisco. If the literal human shit isn't devaluing the property,
yeah, I guess that's true. But I guess the theory would be that
he's making people want to leave.
He's making people want to leave so that he could purchase it, and then if Elon wanted to, he would purchase the building, and then I'm like, that's kind of a meta thing. Super thoughtful, but I'm like, I don't know if he would go that far. I think I don't know if he's stupid, but
nobody thought he was actually going to buy Twitter, but here we are.
It's true.
I mean, that's true.
The government kind of.
They also told literally every single person told them, you are never going to get a rocket into space.
Yeah, but I don't understand what I think we're going to see the death of Twitter, man. I don't know what the next thing is going to be, but the fact that he rate limited it where you can't even see, you're going to have to basically pay to see everything you would want to see on Twitter.
Yeah, he turned it into like a subscription service.
Yeah, I don't understand.
And what's ironic about him calling it X2 and the way he's doing it is, so X, I don't know if you know what that originally, that was his... I saw some commercial for it from like 2003 or something, and it was the original thing that he came up with. I guess it was X.com, and it was basically they were trying to revolutionize the banking system, and it was this new way of banking that they were fucking putting out there. And I don't know any more than that because the commercial didn't really go into like what it was, but it's fucking him, and he's looking all young, and he's just like, yeah, man, X.com, it's a revolution in banking, man.
X gonna give it to you.
He gonna give it to you. Yeah. Shit, DMX was good at that time. They should have got him to do the theme song for it. But yeah, so it's funny that, he's turning, not 2003. I'm talking about 2003, still alive.
Oh, okay.
And whatever, they can just hologram him.
That's true. but the whole thing of he took Twitter and then he renamed it this old thing that he used to do, and then it was a banking thing, and now he's basically turning Twitter into a monetized social media platform for himself. So it's like, he's made it now X is his bank. It's like it's gonna be, I don't know. I feel like there's something going on there. There's some reason why he did it, and choosing something that he already did in the past. I don't know if that's indicative of what it could potentially mean for what it's going to turn into in the future.
I just don't see
it's weird.
I don't see it going in any good direction.
So what do you think?
Especially for like, because we kind of had the example with MySpace, right?
Yeah.
For like somebody else to come in and completely change what MySpace was. And then somebody else is taking on Twitter, and it was all. I don't know if Twitter was profitable as a company itself.
I mean, it must have been because, I mean, what was it called? They were. I mean, had you ever seen those videos about all the amenities that those fuckers had?
Yeah, it was pretty excessive.
But they probably, I don't know if it was probably like angel investors and loans that they had taken out that they were able to do those things, and maybe they were being kept afloat.
Well, remember, they were also charging people to get those blue marks, and it wasn't a monthly subscription. It was like, hey, give me 50 grand and I'll give you your blue mark.
Yeah, that is true. Which is fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Remember, Twitter wasn't a fucking great place before he bought it.
It wasn't. But
but shit plus shit still equals shit.
Yeah, but I feel like everything eventually capitulates at some point. Like, Facebook has already reached its
life cycle or limit or whatever.
Like Zuckerberg
service life. Its end of its service life is coming soon.
Yeah, like Zuckerberg already had its. He's smart enough to just absorb any other social media like Instagram. I think Snapchat.
Yeah, I believe so.
Snapchat, like he's been able to spread out his
seeds everywhere.
Yeah, it's for enough to cover what like Facebook is, for something like Facebook to eventually be going on the downward spiral, I guess you could say. Like Twitter, what does Twitter have to fall back on? Like, are they absorbing other fucking social medias so that they are still relevant to social media on the whole? I don't know, but
so then what do you think the whole point of them Meta making the Threads or whatever thing, which is basically just a Twitter competitor? So if that format of Twitter is dying, why even bother?
Because Twitter only serves one purpose, right? It's to tweet information, to write short form blurbs. Now Instagram operates as a photo sharing and video share. Like it's basically all encompassing. It's like now it has Reels. It's basically TikTok in that sense, right? Now it has Threads. Now it has the Twitter aspect. It has the photo sharing aspect in the same regards as Snapchat. So now it's basically serving three functions as opposed to Twitter's
just one thing. So then that's where the value of it comes in, is they're making this be essentially this metaverse or whatever, this meta thing be, this is it. This is everything's going to be all
everything
through this.
Need is going to be
this one deal.
Like, and maybe it's not just Instagram, but Meta will absorb something else eventually. Whenever the next thing comes along, whatever it might be, the next Twitter, whatever the fuck that is, they're going to find a way to either purchase that company or they're going to create their own fucking thing to say, you don't have to go to those other things. We have the exact same. We have Cinnamon Toast Crunch at home.
You don't need to go out and eat that at the restaurant.
So I don't know. I guess I don't know what the deal with that is going forward, but I hope that fight with Mark Zuckerberg, and you know what the best part was?
The what?
This alleged fight. I don't know if it's actually happening or not.
Yeah.
But apparently, Mark Zuckerberg is a practicing.
He's like a black belt or some shit.
He's a practicing Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Well, I mean, he's part lizard, so he's able to get out of all those holds.
That's true.
So that's the best part, is that if he actually got in a fist fight with fucking Mark Zuckerberg, or not Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. I feel like my money's on Mark Zuckerberg.
Well, I think if it's a fist fight, then Brazilian jiu-jitsu doesn't matter in that situation.
Well, if it's an MMA fight,
then I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny too is there? I think I saw a picture of him with a couple of these elite UFC guys, and now he's just gonna pay these dudes to train him for this fucking fight. And listen, Elon's got more money than fucking God too. So like, why wouldn't he just do the same thing and just be like, all right, guys, listen, y'all motherfuckers are going to train me up.
But it's because he's already been doing it.
I mean, I guess that's true.
For Elon Musk, like, have you seen him in a shirt?
Yeah, he's kind of pudgy, kind of doughy.
Yeah, he's got a weird build.
Yeah. One of the strongest and most powerful boxers of all time was Butterbean, and he didn't have the physique of a god.
Yes, but
he weighed 400 fucking pounds, and
he had a physique of a different kind of god.
Yeah, that's true.
But I guess
he was less Zeus and more Thor.
Yeah, he could hit hard. All right, that's what matters.
That's what I'm just saying. Like, you can be fast and agile, but all he has to do is hit that one hit.
But Mark Zuckerberg seems to be at least putting an effort into his physical fitness.
I'm telling you guys, yeah, that's true. But I'm telling you guys right now, if those two fucking fight and it's on pay-per-view, we're fucking ordering it and we're watching it, and then we're gonna talk about it because that. I mean, we might even do a live because that's not gonna happen probably for fucking a while if it does actually happen. But yeah, that shit. How much do you think they could charge for that?
I think
$100.
I think $80 might be.
80 might be what?
I don't know if I would pay for it.
How much was that Logan Paul and KSI fight?
Oh, I'm sure that was probably close to that.
Have you guys been watching those internet celebrity fights?
The only one I saw recently was Brandon Herrera's one. His was he did fight some fucking other YouTuber, so that was the only one I've seen.
Because they had like Ego Raptor versus some other guy, and
didn't they do one for Boogie too?
Boogie what? Boogie 8942, whatever his thing is.
Are they actually? Is it like boxing or is it just like MMA?
It's a real boxing.
I mean, with Brandon Herrera's situation, he only had 6 months to train because the guy who was originally supposed to fight him backed out. So he only had 6 months, but I mean, it worked because in those 6 months he trained, he won.
So then, did they just have the one match, or did they have like an undercard and they had like a bunch of other?
It's a full on thing.
Oh man, see, I wonder what do you think the undercard for that would be for the Elon and Mark Zuckerberg fucking?
It'd be like fuck yeah, that's a good question.
that would be an interesting thing to see what they fucking throw up against that. Would it be like some famous YouTubers maybe fighting in a couple matches because you couldn't just do the one match. You'd have to have probably like maybe 5 or 6.
Oh, you know what I would really like.
Yeah.
Is if you had Instagram models fighting each other, and whoever wins obviously is going to be the person that is less disfigured. but that would be something cool to see, like these beautiful people end up in a ring. And somebody's coming out fucked up.
Yeah. Like
I would pay to see that, dude.
The fight doesn't end until one of them has a disfigurement, you know, like that.
So
I don't know about a disfigurement, but just for the day, somebody gets their shit
pushed in.
So to watch that Logan Paul fight, you had to be a subscriber to some streaming service where you paid either $20 a month or $100 for the year.
Okay.
But if you were a UK resident, you just paid a one-time fee of £9.95.
Wow. So you had to subscribe to some fucking service.
Wait, so this thing cost whatever amount of dollars in the US, but it costs £10 in
England?
UK?
Yeah.
Well, that place must be based out of the UK then or some shit, I would imagine, right? What's the streaming service called?
KSI is British. So.
Yeah.
It was just called DAZN.
Oh, DAZN?
Yeah.
All right, I want to go off on a tangent.
Oh, yeah.
You briefly... What are we at, by the way, in time?
Like an hour and a half.
Hour and 25.
All right. I wanted to ask about the H3 podcast because I'm not all that familiar with it, but I've seen clips. And what is the appeal of the two people involved? Like, are they? Do you watch them first of all?
Every once in a while. I haven't for a while.
But did you at some point
when they first started? Yes. And
what was it about them that drew you in?
Ethan and his wife have a channel called H3H3 Productions, I believe. They had a YouTube channel, and they were some of the best shit talkers, and like they made fun of people and like the jokes. He was fucking hilarious, and he didn't hold back. And hell, he even got sued by because he did a reaction video. And he ended up getting sued for the fucker. And instead of just saying, whatever, I'll take the video down, he literally fought this guy for 5 years and won the case.
Wow. That's cool.
Because he didn't want to fucking do it. And like, it was funny. They started a Kickstarter for people to help them with their legal fees. And so the fool that was suing them changed the lawsuit so he can include the kickfunder money.
Wow.
And the judge later told him, you can't do that. And like the Ethan even said, yeah, do you want my wife's dowry too?
Wait, so they were rich to begin with?
No, he was a dowry is just what the
father pays the husband or whatever.
They're, if I remember correctly, they're Jewish, so they have the old timey traditions.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and then I don't know what happened to him, dude. He just let himself go, and
you're not talking about physically. You're talking about like the whatever he was doing.
People say physically, but that's not what I'm talking about.
But what is it that like you felt the change that you're like, this isn't entertaining to me anymore?
He got extremely woke.
Woke?
Yeah. And not like, I don't have a problem with wokeness and like people bringing that shit in. It's fine. But when you made your career of talking shit and being an asshole, kind of, and then now you want to be the other end of that spectrum, it's kind of like,
like you're making exceptions for people.
Like, what's his name? Fucking, not Leafy. iDubbbz.
I don't know who that is, but go ahead.
He made his whole career off of fucking trolling and just being an internet piece of shit. Like, not personally, just like the way he was acting. How he even made a whole video talking about like how you should bully if it leads to them dying. Oh wow, you made the gene pool stronger.
Okay,
that's pretty funny.
And now he's like, he literally made like a 15-minute video like apologizing for his old video, saying that that's not who he is anymore and shit.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then he also, I think he got his ass kicked in one of those YouTuber fights.
Okay.
So yeah, like it's okay to, if you start seeing the light on the other side and you want to start understanding it. Yeah, but don't forget who you were. Like,
but do you want to be? Would you personally want somebody to hold whatever you did in the past against you? Because like who you are today is not directly correlated to who you were in the past.
That's not true. Who I am in the past made who I am today. I may not be that person anymore.
Yeah,
but the path and choice that motherfucker made led me here. I am the product of my past, but I am not my past. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like, so saying like, that guy was an asshole. Past me was an asshole. Current me learned my lesson. But I am still the product of that. If I didn't go through that phase, I'd be somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's who I was or whatever, but I'm just saying like, you are who you are through your past choices. It doesn't, just because you regret those choices, doesn't mean that they're not a part of you.
But what if you were a bad person in the past and you have completely changed to the point that it's almost unrecognizable to who you were in the past, and people are saying you were, for the sake of this example, you were racist, you were whatever, you were doing this and that, and now as a person, you're completely different. You're charitable, like you're concerned for other people, like you're all that stuff. Your personality is so much different. And they say, in spite of all that, you're still an asshole because you were this person still. Like you were that.
That person is still a part of you. It's just that now you have the recognizance to understand, hey, these thoughts are not okay. My actions are not okay. If you were a huge piece of shit to the point where you were openly racist and shit like that,
I know that's kind of extreme. That's extreme.
It's extreme, but yeah. I'm gonna roll with it.
Yeah,
is you don't get to just say, "Oh, I am not that person anymore," and just the next day be a new person.
I feel like you are.
You basically have to go on a humble tour, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You don't. Redemption isn't something that's just handed to you because you say you changed.
Yeah. So,
if people are still calling you the horrors of your past and they can't see past your current deeds, that's on them.
Yeah.
And if it sucks for you, then maybe you aren't really redeeming yourself because all you care about is how people see you.
Yeah.
If you're truly getting over yourself, you should be caring about what you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. If I was a piece of shit to Josh and Josh doesn't forgive me, then it happens. But if he forgave me, that's going to be a huge fucking, what's the word?
Relief,
I guess you could say. And
yeah,
again, that doesn't automatically make what I did to him okay. but it makes it to the point where we can start moving on from it.
Yeah.
I still did those things. So just because I said I regret it doesn't mean I get to say I'm a new person. It means I am building myself again. I was something else. I destroyed that, and I am rebuilding myself. But I am still being rebuilt with the same materials of that old self.
Yeah. I feel like we came to the same conclusion, but I feel like
in different ways.
Said it
in different ways, because I feel like you went from point A to point B. I went from point A to point B to C, D, and E, and F. I was gonna say that I don't feel personally that you owe people an explanation of why you've changed for the better, to the point that you don't even have to apologize for the things that, I mean, sure, you make the effort because you internally feel that you're apologetic for whatever things you may have done, but that's where it ends. And after that, you're I don't want to say you're absolved, but like whatever self-esteem that you may have about yourself is only due to yourself. Like it doesn't concern other people about how things from your past affect you in the future, because that's not even you anymore. But it also is the other thing about you saying that who you were in the past influenced like how you came to be in the future. But
so like I'm saying, you're tearing yourself down again to rebuild yourself, but you're still rebuilding yourself out of who you were.
So do you think that the reason why you feel that way about that that iDubbbz guy or whatever, right? Do you think you feel that way about him is because it comes off as maybe disingenuous because he has
stuff at stake, like his money. His money's tied up with.
No, I don't think. I mean, probably.
Because it's like, okay, you got famous. You got famous and made money off of being an asshole or whatever, right? And now you're gonna apologize and say, "Oh, I'm not an asshole. I used to be that person, but that's not me anymore," and blah 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 blah. But I mean, like you said, I don't know. I gotta feel like that it is a little disingenuous because it's like, okay,
if it came off as. It did come off more, for me, it felt more like he was saying, I'm not this person, but I don't want to lose everything I got from being that person. Like, if he truly says, I want to separate myself from who I was, then he should change his name and his channel. Yeah. But he knows he'll lose a shit ton of subscribers and shit like that if he does that.
That's ironic too, is in terms of just the woke thing or whatever. It's like, oh man, you're gonna say that you're coming in, you're being woke now or whatever, and then in the past you were the opposite, maybe, let's just say, and made all your money being not woke, and then now that the whole thing has kind of flipped to now the popular thing is to be quote unquote woke.
The zeitgeist has switched over to the other way around,
right? To now, oh, you should be woke. Then they say, oh well, shit, I don't want to lose all my money that I made from being not woke just because I'm not currently woke, so let me get woke, and then let me make sure I can continue getting this money, I guess, right? And that to me, that part seems disingenuous. Like yeah.
But I understand. But at the same time, like I'm saying, you're still, the old iDubbbz is still in there.
Yeah.
Now, if he truly is repenting, or I guess you could say it, then yeah, it's in there, and he has to know that it's. How do I phrase this? Like, because who you are in your past is always going to be a part of you. And you're not repressing it is the wrong way of doing it.
Right.
Which is what I feel like he's trying to do. He's trying to repress who he used to be instead of evolving from who he used to be and becoming.
Oh man, we're so close to 10, man.
What is that?
That's
9.
That's already past 10.
No, that's 9.
I did 3 earlier, remember?
No, we've been counting. That's 9.
No, you guys were in the middle of that little debate. I don't know, just something about just you denying who you used to be is just, I feel like the cheap way out. Working from who you used to be and recognizing
because you're not like taking the responsibility for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need to accept who you were and you did bad, and not move on from it, but work on yourself.
What did he do? I'm just curious as to like. I know nothing about it, but like,
I don't know that much about him either. I'm just saying this is the trend that's going on right now with YouTubers. And I'm just saying with HDH3, he went from being this genuinely funny asshole. Asshole isn't even the wrong term, but he was just really funny and just didn't give a shit about certain things.
Yeah.
To, I have an image now that I have to cultivate. And that's what I feel with him. It could be unfair, but that's just the way I feel. That's why I stopped listening to his podcast. Because it used to be really entertaining back in the day, especially when he had like, he was the first, I think he was one of the first person to have Logan Paul on there after the whole Japan incident.
Oh, him and the Suicide Force?
Yeah.
Man. Whew. Man, that got him a lot of clicks, man. That Japanese thing. Whew.
It just cost them the right to go to that country again.
Really?
Yeah, they banned him.
Dang.
I mean, I'm sure it doesn't affect him at all.
I'm sure he's not losing sleep over it because there's probably a number of places that he just I don't know if he was preferred to go, but
he just can't go to an island anymore. This one island. Sucks. I mean, they have good food there though. That's sushi.
So aside from that, doing that shit, dude, I do think that dude is, I don't want to say he's a natural at wrestling, but he's kind of fucking good, dude.
Yeah, he is. I have to say, Logan Paul.
Oh.
I mean, he is not bad at wrestling. And
I mean, he's not great.
The promo shit is like just okay.
Yeah,
but
his in-ring work is fucking good.
Like he did a buckshot lariat to somebody.
Man.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
And even I'll give him this. The motherfucker even sells too. I mean, when somebody fucking does some shit to him and he sells for him, man, I'm like, God, this dude, man, he's
yeah, I think he's all right.
I'm all right, man. I'm like, this guy's not terrible. And I did think kind of people think the same thing about, like Ronda Rousey.
Like, the shit that happened to me earlier with your daughter roasting the shit out of me.
Oh, yeah.
If you ever get a chance, you should look up the video of some fucking 8-year-old kid roasting the shit out of Logan Paul. It's fucking hilarious.
Good. But anyways, yeah, I like that. I think he's pretty good at wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't really paid attention to like the H3 podcast, but I was kind of curious for the people that did watch him, like what is it about them that his wife Gila and him that people were drawn in? Because I don't know if I saw it, dude. Like I don't know if I ever saw it from the beginning or even to where they are now. Like I don't know if I see it because I could barely watch their stuff.
You know what's funny? Their change slowly started when they moved from New York to California. So it's not the wokeness because New York is just as woke.
That's true. Just as bad as California. And the wokeness.
Again, like I said, I'm not saying anything bad against being woke. It's just the change was very drastic.
Yeah.
Like in that episode I was just talking about with that lady talking about gravity, that fool was in full makeup and shit and had like his hair gel and shit. He looked weird, but I guess it was like just to try it out, I guess.
What do you mean?
It was like full makeup, like not drag, but like how do I explain? Like legitimately just trying to make himself look good with makeup.
Oh, okay. What I don't
on TV, like, and
no,
like they were trans.
Yes.
Okay. And what? When I don't understand what.
Again, don't have the issue with it, but it was just because this is me coming into him again after not seeing him for a very long time, and then seeing that, I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Oh, I don't get it. Well, I mean, I don't understand why that's a surprise. It's like
because he wasn't like that when I first was watching them. That's what I'm saying. Like, because that's how long of a gap it was when I started watching the podcast.
Oh, now. Like he didn't have somebody like that person.
No, this was him.
Oh, this was him.
Yes.
Oh, he was in makeup.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about somebody that he was interviewing that was trans or whatever.
Talking about him, yeah.
I don't know if that makes a difference.
Yeah.
I don't know if that. I mean, I don't know if that like him dressing like that is all that.
It was just weird. Like not weird in a bad way. Weird as in
it's different.
Unexpected.
Yeah,
it was unexpected.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, do you guys have anything else to add for this podcast?
I don't know, man. I don't know. You got anything, Frank? Anything else? No. I mean, that's pretty much all I had. So, all right. Well, I mean, that was a pretty good one. So, yeah, we ran the gamut on this for sure and lived up to its name.
Cool. We ended up at
Butt Fuck Nowhere Show. Oh man, it's exactly 1 a.m. Oh yeah, fucking perfection.
That's
just like it
always
always
should be. Man. That's the cue.
That is the cue. Anyways, all right. Well, hey, thanks for listening. And if you didn't like it, then I mean, that's too bad. Fuck off. Goodbye.
This has been the Butt Fuck Nowhere Show. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, subscribe and like on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine. Also on Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag. Also visit our website, www.GameRageMagazine.com, for a host of other podcasts and more. Thanks for listening.